we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
Well, all right, welcome to episode 110 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. Good God Almighty, man. So, yeah, I took a look back through the thing of, like, stuff I had posted and what have you, and I saw, like, yeah, man, it was, like, a bunch of just quick coffee break type deals, and, and counting Lord Marcus's tea time in the chat, which was pretty stylish. I appreciate it. But also, man, yeah, I was like, dude, that's been like a week, and I'm sick as fuck, dude. It was not cool. But yeah, I don't really get sick that often, man. But dude, I guess when I do, I get it like both barrels. But it reminded me, man, of this. Like, I guess it'll be just like some horror stories episode, I guess. But I had this nasty sinus infection, man, and I'm largely over it now. But I'm on the way to the airport, and it reminded me, like, the last time I had a sinus infection this bad was after boot camp, man. And I was going to my first school, like my first little block of training. And, like, I was a young dude. I didn't know how anything worked, man. And I'm on a plane, imagine that. And I'm landing, and the deal was, like, I don't know if you know this or not, man. If you don't know, I'll explain it real quick. But you got, like, your sinuses are like these spaces in your head, and a lot of this shit helps you equalize out the pressure when you go up or down. Otherwise, you'd always have to live at, like, sea level, or it would take a really, really long time to acclimatize, like moving up to a mountain, or if you lived in the mountain and moving down lower. So you got all these little chambers and shit in your head that helps kind of equalize that. So to kind of illustrate that is sort of like when when you jump in a pool. I'm assuming it's all swimmers in this crowd, there's no non-swimmers here. But you jump in a pool, if you jump into like the 9, 10, 12 foot section, and you swim to the bottom, how you get that pressure in your nose or in your ears. And if you hold your nose and you kind of thump, like blow a little bit, it'll push extra air into those spaces. And now it won't hurt no more, right? Because it's equalized the pressure. You've pushed extra pressure in there to match the pressure that's being exerted by the water. So same way when you go up in an airplane, it's the same effect, but it's happening like the reverse direction. So just like when you come up from the bottom of a pool, now it's like you don't have to do anything. Like that extra air will just like whoop, like it'll just leak right out, right? Because there's no pressure, but there's more pressure in your sinuses than there is outside. So it'll just kind of come right out of you. You don't really notice it. But when you go up in an airplane, then you're doing the same sort of thing. Like you're going up, and an airplane's pressurized to like 8,000 feet, I guess is like the standard. But when you go up, it's just like coming off the bottom of a pool. So you don't really notice that, like it could be air coming out of your sinuses and such. But what happens then when you go down is that you will go down, and now you got to equalize a little bit. So that's a lot of times why you hear babies crying and shit on airplanes, is because they've got that pressure situation and they don't know how to deal with it, and they're like much smaller, sinuses and pathways to their inner ear and shit. So it gets stuck in there. So it actually helps, like when they cry or if they drink something, then it'll kind of do that same function as you holding your nose and blowing a little bit, and it'll equalize that pressure so they don't go so fucking nuts. So this happened to me, man. Like I was landing, going to this school, and I had like a little bit of a sinus infection. And on the way down, then when we're landing, we're going from, whatever 8,000 to down to, whatever city we were in. And I'm like, whoa. And I like got that pressure like super, super nasty, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I had it before, like, just like jumping in a pool or something. I would know, like, oh, my nose and like, or my ears, like, foom. But I didn't know that you got all of these other little spaces that constitute your sinuses. And I had one that was all blocked up, and I'm like, holy shit, like it felt like something was wrong with my teeth. And I was like, what the fuck? And I landed, and I thought it would be cool, and I waited, and it just kept hurting. And it was like the rest of the night, I was legit considering, like, how can I get a tooth out of my head, and maybe that would fix it, because it felt like something was wrong with my teeth. And I'm like wiggling on my teeth and shit, and like, ugh. And it's obviously that's not going to help. But then, after a while, it like, and like, I was like, oh God, that's so much better. But I started having like that same kind of feel in my head, man. I'm like, this fucking sucks. But, at this point, I know what it was. So I'm like, all right, man, get some antibiotics going, stand in a hot shower, this kind of shit. And, hey, hopefully on the way to the airport now, I'll get on here and I won't have an issue. So if you hear about, a plane had to make an emergency diversion because some guy is trying to pull his teeth out or some crazy shit, then you'll know why. You'll know why that happened. Anyway, so I had a couple things I wanted to hit on, man. One, I want to touch on some of the shit that's going on, worldwide, and then kind of how that plays into the Trump thing. And I think, I think it's cool to be aware of what goes on around the world, mostly though because of what does this mean for you, like how does this affect me? Does this really fucking matter to me? If it doesn't, like, because really I don't really go in so much for like just celebrity gossip shit. There's no point to that. I do like knowing this shit though when it applies to you, and I think some of the decisions and the way that he does things, some of this Trump persona is one. Some of this shit could obviously affect you if it becomes World War III, which looks increasingly likely. But also, I think there's a good takeaway regarding the way that he does things and his kind of approach to, I don't want to say deal making, but approach to getting shit done. And then lastly, I want to hit on an interview that I listened to that somebody sent me a piece of with some fucking Fed. And I was like, this your boy? I'm like, motherfucker, dude. So I want to hit on that a little bit and get a couple thoughts out. But first, kind of jerkling back to these thoughts on celebrity gossip. Some of this shit that I heard come out recently, like I just this weekend saw another clip from Ian Carroll, and I'll tell you what, dude, initially my thought was like, this is just a sharp guy. This is just a guy who knows from doing some research, and he puts out a good product. This is why people like him. I don't know what the big fucking to-do is. But after having heard the idea floated that maybe this guy gets a little more boost than is actually warranted, and then seeing some of the shit that he's put out over the last couple weeks, like, yeah, dude, I can dig that you're calling out the Epstein thing again, though. And I heard this was a real solid take, and I don't remember, maybe it was Devin Stack that was saying this, that people calling this shit out, like the Epstein thing, calling out war crimes in Gaza, this is safe fucking territory, man. You're not taking a fucking risk. This is not new ground. You're not telling anybody anything they didn't know already. I mean, what the fuck are you doing over here? So yeah, the guy did put out some good material on the Epstein thing, but after the stuff I heard last week if you didn't hear the coffee break thing that's available in the Telegram chat, I talked about this thing that he was kind of reviewing called telepathy tapes, which is basically this account whereby autistic people can somehow communicate with each other telepathically, and they're, magic or what the fuck ever. They can read your mind. They experience the world through your senses. Which, look, man, I'll listen to all kinds of shit, dude. I'll listen to any kind of ideas. But I think there's a point when it becomes so fucking zany that, like, all right, look, dude, this is about something else. And the something else that I think this is about I'm increasingly starting to believe is just steering you away from the shit you should be talking about, the things you should be focusing on, and steering you off into the fucking weeds someplace to fuck around with autists or, telepathic autists, or in this case, celebrity gossip. So in this instance, the celebrity gossip he started on was, the deal where he's got his little mustache and he's pointing over his head at whatever he's putting up there. All right, guys, we're going to get into how they're trying to take down Candace Owens, and I don't think it's going to quite go the way they think it is, because we're going to get into what they're saying about RFK Jr., who, say what you want about him, he's doing a pretty good job, and, well, let's get into it. And it started out as like, we're going to talk about RFK Jr., and there's an attempt to derail him or to blackmail him was the initial pitch, right? It was what this guy was talking about. But it instantly went from talking about RFK Jr. to now we're talking about Candace Owens. And the story was that some fucking editor somewhere, I can't remember what publication, TMZ maybe, I don't fucking know, is like, I want to take Candace Owens down, but it's got to be a clean shot. There's going to be a clean hit on this educated black woman. And I'm like, all right, well, my interest has diminished considerably, but all right, go on. It's a probably Jewish editor looking at taking somebody down. Like, this is not news, for one. All right, it's Candace Owens. All right, it's definitely not news now. Like, yeah, she can have some takes, but are these blazing hot takes? Is this shit I didn't know before? Is it shit that I care about that I needed more information on? Not typically, no. The fucking Macron thing, being married to a dude or whatever. Okay, cool. Does this change my life appreciably? No, it really doesn't, man. Does it kind of solidify what I already suspected, is that the world is ruled by degenerates and psychopaths? Maybe a little, but I was already pretty much set on that. So what am I really taking away here? Nothing. But so suddenly we're dipping into the Candace Owens soap opera, and I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about here? And yeah, she calls him out and like, you're like little goblins and you lie like you breathe, and like, okay, yeah, great, I hear the dog whistle, thank you, I appreciate it, tip of the hat, great. Is there anything you have that's of any fucking relevance? And then finally we work our way into, she's talking about the RFK Jr. thing, and the pitch there is that while he was campaigning for, I guess was president at the time, while he was campaigning, that he had some female staffer that him and her were texting flirty messages to each other, and I want to say the allegation was that at some point he texted her a picture of his dick. And I'm like, well, that's fucking amateur night anyways. But two, I guess I could say I'm old enough to remember when a scandal actually had to involve doing something scandalous. Like, I mean, Ted Kennedy, like, that guy legit killed somebody before he ever considered running for office. Him and I guess some other dudes were fucked up, and they're driving around, I think it was Nantucket, where rich people hang out, and he had some girl, Mary Jo Kopechne, in the car with him, and he was fucked up, and he drove off this bridge. The car like turned over, he got out, she didn't, she drowned, and he just kind of hung out and like, fuck bro, this fucking sucks bro. And okay, and that was it. But it was a scandal, and this motherfucker killed somebody, how could you vote for him? Oh yeah, but it was a long time ago bro, and he's making amends bro, and he's a good guy, from a fucking good family or whatever. And it's like, man, what fucking ever. But I mean, you could call killing somebody and then running for office a scandal, I guess, even when it's years earlier. Or having an illegitimate kid. And I can't remember this guy's name, but he was a squirrely little fucker that was running for president. And it came out that he had a bastard kid with like a photographer. And they're chasing him around this hotel in, I want to say D.C., and he locked himself in a bathroom and he wouldn't come out, and they're beating on the door and they're like, come out here, you motherfucker, and like, face the music and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, god damn, dude. And I guess what was really fucked up, and it is fucked up, is that this guy, and I wish I could remember this guy's name, I can see his squirrely little fucking face, but he had some other dude like some fucking loyalist to him, claiming that this kid was his, saying that, oh yeah, it's my kid, I had this illegitimate kid out of wedlock. And I'm like, you know, what the fuck, dude? Like, yeah, I appreciate you got a career. I appreciate, you know, if you've got something embarrassing, you want to keep it on the down low. But, like, that is your kid. It is your flesh and blood. And to be like, it's not my kid. It's not my love. I ain't the one. Billie Jean's not my lover, right? So how the fuck does that kid grow up with that? That like, oh, that was your dad that locked himself in the bathroom and had some other guy saying that he was your father and some crazy shit? Like, how the fuck do you do somebody like that? That is some fucked up shit. But I mean, that is a scandal, you know? Fucking drugs. Well, I would say that guy who was the mayor of Toronto, Rob something or other, like high as a fucking giraffe's ass 90% of the time. And like, he didn't really give a shit though, I don't think. He was just like, yeah, I'm high right now, you know, so whatever. But I mean, whether it's drugs or hooking or, I mean, like Obama's birth certificate. I mean, honestly, you could say that is a scandal, dude. Because I know that a lot of cats are like, that's fucking tinfoil, that's Q-tard shit. The shit is legit, dude. I remember when they fucking uploaded that shit to the White House website, I downloaded it from the fucking White House website. And whoever fucking put it together, it was amateur night. And I mean, I guess you could say it's amateur night. You could also say it's like a thumb right in your eye, like, I'm going to upload a total piece of shit and you're not going to do shit about it. You're going to look right at it. You're going to see that it's fake. You're going to know that it's fake. You'll be able to prove that it's fake and you won't do shit. You'll sit there and you'll fucking take it. How's that grab you? That's more like what I think happened. But in any case, this thing was it was a PDF file, and I ain't Mr. Computer Nerd, but as I understand it, like when a computer constructs like a PDF file out of a picture or a Word document or whatever, the computer decides itself, like randomly, like what order it grabs the elements of that document or that photo and constructs it into a PDF. So it might be like the top right corner, it might be all the blue value, it might be, you know, whatever the fuck, like a strip across the middle, but it'll just grab wherever it grabs and it puts this thing together. This piece of shit that they uploaded, for one, it was like a document that was presented as though it was like from a book laid on top of a copier. So if you ever seen like where somebody lays a book on top of a copier and then they copy it, right? Or even if you like just laid open a book and you took a picture of it, you would see like the distortion towards the spine of the book where the shit kind of wraps inward. So you see it distort, right? But what these fucks did was like they had that effect, but then they also had just like straight lines across the paper like it was in a lined book. But the lines didn't distort. The lines did not distort. The letters did distort. And then when you analyze the thing, it would be broken down still into, like, it wasn't broken down into elements the way a computer would break it down, like randomly. It was like, here's the signature block, here's the guy's, like the child's name where you would insert. You can move the whole fucking thing around, right? So like if you had the edit feature in your PDF, which you can pay for to have, you can grab it and move it around and like, here, I want Barack Obama to be the guy who signed it, and you could put his name all the way at the bottom. So like all of the elements were still separate, but it was all presented here to you as like, here, shithead, here's the document you wanted. Fucking choke on it. Do what you want. You could call that a scandal, I think, quite fairly, but nobody gave a shit about that. But now here suddenly is like, this guy was like, he was like sexting and stuff with some chick. So fucking what, dude? I mean, maybe it's not something you want your wife stumbling across and like, what is this shit, man? Come on, dude. But I mean, if you didn't actually have your dick in this person, you didn't actually kill anybody, you don't have a bastard child, you haven't been sticky fingering, you know, the expense account, how the fuck is this really a scandal? This is a broke, weak fucking scandal. And for the people screaming about it is like, Wait a minute, man. You had a dude with his fake tits hanging out on the White House lawn not that long ago. You had a guy getting caught, getting blasted in the ass in some fucking congressional office. How are you spun up about this? This is amateur night at best. This is fucking bullshit. This is maybe a minor embarrassment. This is not really anything. And I'm not saying like, well, if you're a girl, you know, if you caught your girl sexting some dude, wouldn't you be upset? Yeah, I'd be upset. I wouldn't call her work and say like, look, this is the kind of person you got here. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking. What do you think would happen? You know, if you called, like imagine that shit. You catch your girl texting some fucking dude, that you know for sure she hasn't been fucking. Maybe it's a geographical thing or just like, it just, you know, this shit hasn't happened. They're just sexting. No, you wouldn't be fucking happy. You'd be pretty fucking pissed, and justifiably so. Maybe you shit can her. But imagine if you called her fucking work and you're like, hey, just so you know, like, dude, I think just so you know is like always a pretext to you're about to hear something incredibly fucking stupid. Just so you know, like what kind of person you have, like working for you. Like, this, like, check this out. I think that person would tell you, like, yeah, that's really nice. We'll take note of it. Why don't you not ever call here again? And then they would probably go to her and go, hey, is this going to be a problem in the future? If it is, then maybe we look at, like, first maybe look at a restraining order. But if she's like, no, we're splitting up, he's just pissed. Okay, that would probably be the end of it. Because that is not, embarrassing, but not really anything. And more importantly, not something that, especially in light of all the other shit going on, not something that I should have to hear about in terms of, okay, guys, here it is. Like, what the fuck are you distracting me from, fuckstick? So I'll tell you more and more, man, I'm inclined to think that a lot of these cats are just, it's fucking soap opera distraction dog shit to keep you from looking at things that are actually important. And there are plenty of things that are actually important. So moving on to things that are actually important, I posted this in the chat last night as well, that there's been a considerable buildup of American air power on Diego Garcia. So if you listen to listen to the coffee break thing, you know about Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia is this tiny ass island in like the way I had always heard it was it's about halfway to everywhere. It's in the middle of the fucking ocean, just fucking sitting there, dude. And the story in the military was like, you fuck up enough, they'll just send you to fucking Diego Garcia and forget your name, and you'll be stuck there and you'll die and it'll suck. But apparently at this point there is a metric shit ton, and that's a technical term, metric shit ton of American air power staged on Diego Garcia, presumably to fuck up Iran. And the talk right now, I mean, talk straight from Trump at this point, is that there's going to be a deal forthcoming. There's going to be ultimatums forthcoming. And if Iran isn't willing to play ball, that he will start bombing. I mean, dude, that's tall talk, man. And I mean, I'll tell you, dude, I can't hammer home enough how important it is or how relevant it is, this kind of talk, like this kind of heavy-handed talk. Whenever I was around, like towards the end of my operational career, I moved in and out of a good few embassies, and I got to interact with a good few diplomat types and senior officer types and those caliber of people. And I've said it before, but I want to reiterate it because it needs to be reiterated. I can't say enough that one of these people's main concerns is that you don't want to burn bridges, man. So like having dudes like us around where your chief job is to fuck things up and hurt people and really implement policy at gunpoint, like you'll do it my way now, motherfucker, or I will just smoke your ass. That's what you're there for as an operator. Like the negotiations have ended, it didn't work out, you'll do it this way or it's your ass. That's the news. So knowing that, whenever we were around, it was always like, dude, don't say anything, don't do anything, don't be fucking weird, don't like look threateningly at anybody. And it's not because, well, it is partly because they're kind of sissy fucks, but also because in that world, it's, you know, before it gets handed to us, it's important for them to not burn any bridges. So they always want to keep like the smiling face. So if there's a way that we can work this out without somebody getting shot, if there's a way that we can arrive at an agreement, if there's some way to make this work, we want to fucking find it. And even if we can't find it today, we want to be able to find it maybe down the road. So let's not get too nuts, man. Let's just take it easy. Let's let things take their course. Let's not, you know, burn any bridges or slam any doors or motherfuck anybody, right? So my entire time, dude, they would not trust you, you know? Like, it took a long time, dude. Some of this shit I was doing, it took a really long time to get to a spot where people trusted me enough to be like, hey, all right, you want to come and sit in this meeting, man? You want to see what you think? You want to talk to this guy? You want to go meet with that guy? It took a long fucking time. And reasonably so, because there are dudes that were in my scene that, like, no matter how long they were around, they could be around a long, long fucking time. Like, I had dudes that I worked with that were leadership position dudes that you would go on target and like, all right, dude, like, we rolled everybody up. Everybody here might be dirty. Everybody here might not be dirty. So I need at least a couple of these dudes in one piece so I could talk to them, and if they've got something to offer, then, you know, we can figure something out. And they're like, yeah, sure. And no matter how many times I fucking say it, like, these dudes will be lighting guys up, just beating the living shit out of people. And I'm like, dude, you are not fucking helping. Like, if it's a guy that you know is fucking dirty and needs to have his head cracked open, then great. I'm the first guy in line to fucking do it. But I can't go find the next guy who needs his head cracked open if I don't have somebody to tell me where the fuck he is. So you beating the shit out of everyone really fucks everything up. And this is me, and like, your own guy, somebody from our community. Like, I'm your pal, dude. I'm just like you. But I'm trying to help you help me. And it's still like, yeah, I know, bro, but fucking whatever, bro. Fuck that, dude. Fuck these guys. Like, all right, man, shit. Like, so some cats, you know, the world needs ditch diggers, you know? It is what it is. So with this in mind, man, like, this is how a lot of diplomats would look at us. So the same way you look at how, like, Trump is dealing with this Iran thing, and it's like, dude, what the fuck is this, man? Like, there is clearly, you know, there's absolutely no intention of ever having any kind of reasonable, sensible, peaceable relationship with these Iranians. And to be clear, I ain't saying you got to be friends, but you also don't got to be, you know, like, man, don't even go in that neighborhood because that guy wants to fucking kill you. It ain't got to be like that. So looking at the situation as it is then, at this point, there's a metric fuck ton of firepower, and I did see, well, so let me kind of specify, there's a metric fuck ton of air firepower. So you're talking about bombing campaigns, probably some subs off the coast. I know at this point they've pushed 2 carrier groups out that direction, and where exactly they are, I haven't looked, but 2 carrier groups and a fuck ton of bombing capability. I have seen a statement from Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, and I want to say Iraq, but I can't remember for sure, that said, hey man, you do what you're going to do. We can't fucking stop you, but you're not going to do like refueling or any of that kind of shit here in our backyard, dude. You're on your fucking own. So specifying that, like, you're not going to do refueling, you're not going to do repairs, everything I've seen is specific to, like, air capability. So bombing, talking about, I mean, missiles, I guess, would kind of, that's its own program. But where you're going to talk about missile strikes, flying over, doing shit from the air, that's the only thing that I've seen. I haven't seen anything, or I haven't heard anything just yet about troops being shifted that direction or any kind of a ground invasion type thing. So what that suggests to me is that, like, here was kind of, well, I could put it this way. With us, the deal was like, they're sending us, you know, as operators, when they want to find out for sure that it's this specific guy, or you want some specific item brought back, like you want verification of WMDs or some kind of shit, or verification that this facility is destroyed, or verification that this specific guy is dead, that's when you put boots on the ground. All right. If it's a country or a people that you want, you know, somehow liberated, you know, or whatever you think about that idea, but people you want to free from their oppressors, then you put, you know, the big numbers of troops on the ground. Like, we're, you know, just here to root out, you know, you're like white blood cells. You're like here to root out the bunny ears bad guys and not hurt the, you know, bunny ears good guys or innocent civilians or whatever. So that's, again, conceptually, and these are, you know, broad ideas, and it's in a general sense, man. We're not talking like, yeah, but bro, the Zog, like, we're not talking about that right now. Talking general ideas. So if you wanted, you know, if you wanted to just root out the bunny ears bad guys and preserve the infrastructure or minimize collateral damage, collateral injuries, then this is how you would do it. When you're talking about, like, we just have the big aircraft, that's all we have here. All this says to me is we're going to bomb this shit into the fucking Stone Age. So basically you're going to do the Gaza treatment on an entire country. Pretty much destroy the entire infrastructure, fuck up everything, fuck over everybody. And honestly, dude, if you were to say, like, yeah, like a little place like Israel can fuck up Gaza, but that's just fucking Gaza. It's not that big. I mean, I think you have to specify that when you say fuck up Gaza, like, you're not just fucking up the infrastructure, dude. That is, by any definition of the term, a fucking genocide. Like, if you look up the UN definition of genocide, it's not just killing people. It's making it impossible for them to live. It's depriving them of any sense of history that they have. It's depriving them of basically being a collective group, which is exactly what's happening to Gaza. Like, your place is gone. It's fucking leveled, dude. I saw a video of Gaza the other day. It's like blam, like just shot the fuck out. The whole fucking place, all the way out to the horizon in every direction, is rubble. And I mean, so I don't, unless you're gonna say that, like, oh well, that entire country was Hamas. You know, we're just after Hamas, dude. We just want the hostages back. No, dude, no. This is what genocide looks like. And then when you start pimping these other countries that, like, hey, I think it was like Somalia and Sudan and maybe Egypt. I don't think Egypt. Somewhere else that was like, hey, you guys can each take like a few million Palestinians, and this conflict will be resolved, right? What do you think's gonna happen to them there, dude? They're not gonna be able to survive there. I mean, who the fuck gets sent to Somalia and, like, yeah, just set up shop in Somalia, you'll be fine. Or Sudan, you'll be fine. Like, you're fucked, dude. You're going to get gutted, like, on the spot. But I think, honestly, that's probably part of the plan. So that, every sense, a genocide. So that obviously is a much, how do you say, man, a much more neck-deep endeavor there. They're really putting their back into it. To just completely fuck over a country. I mean, we did this in Iraq, dude. I mean, we fucked that place up good. And that was really just that initial bunny ears shock and awe fucking bullshit. Yeah, you shock and awed everybody. You shock and awed the fuck out of the water system. You shock and awed all the irrigation. You shock and awed the supply routes. You shock and awed fucking sanitation, the hospitals, the schools. Everything was fucked up, dude. So, like, when you look at infrastructure, man, I mean, it's very, very easy to take for granted the shit that you see every day, dude. Like, what would you do if the fucking electricity went out? Just like zap, the electricity's out for the next 2 weeks. You're fucked, right? You don't got to rubble the whole city. Like, you're just fucked, man. Like, oh shit, dude. And even if you're in like a more primitive, I mean, honestly, it is, and without saying it derogatorily, it is a primitive fucking place where, like, Iraq, dude, that's fucking primitive. These people are used to living like, yeah, man, I dig a hole in the ground, I plant something, I water it every day. I have a little manual irrigation system. I go and I raise the little thing and it lets some water in. It's a fucking primitive place, dude. It's how these people live. It is what it is. So yeah, you knock out the power there. It fucks things up for them. It makes life a lot fucking harder. They can still survive though. You knock out the fucking water. You knock out the fucking the sanitation. You fuck up the roads where like a trash truck can't go by. You start killing people in government where like, all right, we don't have a functional government now. The trash guy ain't getting paid. So how the fuck is he going to go drive his trash truck? Where's he going to get gas to put in that fucking thing? So these are the kinds of things that don't get thought of or do get thought of and are like, I don't give a shit. Fuck you. Fuck you and your trash. Well, that's great, man. But when you say like, oh yeah, we want to help the people of Iraq. We want to restore freedom. And like, okay, dipshit. Take a look at the side of the fucking road. There's trash as high as an elephant's eye. All right. There's no fucking schools. The hospital is fucking torn the fuck up. Any doctors that were here, they could afford to leave, so they fucking did. All right. The electricity is out. Everything is fucked up. And what happens now, dude? When the people are helpless, who still has what they need to get by? Basically criminals, dude. Their supply of guns and dudes willing to work together has not been diminished. So they can roll into town and be like, hey, I have food. I need hookers. I have a couple guns. I need a couple guys to help me go take over the next town. You want to do this shit? You can eat. You want to not help? You can fucking starve. If you piss me off, I'll just shoot you. How bad does life get that way? And that don't take much, dude. It really don't take much to fuck things up that bad. Because we did that bad. All right? So now, bearing in mind that when they went to Department of Me, I was there, when the U.S. went to Iraq, it was still at least under the banner of, we're here to help, we're here to restore freedom and democracy and bring you our American fucking freedom. And look how bad they fucked things up. So what do you think is going to happen if they're like, we're going to hammer the shit out of Iran? And that's it. And that's all. And we're going to hammer the shit out of Iran. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to rubble that fucking place. But knowing that, I mean, if I'm some shithead on the way to the airport knowing that, do you imagine that some Iranian general has probably figured that out as well? Because those motherfuckers are not the third world savages that like an Afghanistan or an Iraq is or a Syria is. These are actually, I mean, these are Persians, man, and they might be a little silly. And, you know, they seem silly to you. They seem silly to me. But these are not fucking barefoot, dirt, squirrel savages like what you see in Iraq. These are actually smart fuckers. So if I figured this shit out, of course they've fucking figured it out. And what have they done? They've started moving shit to Venezuela. Ruh-roh. Because what's going to happen then, dude? If we fuck around going that direction, they're going to fuck around heading straight north. And do you really fucking think that Venezuela is going to stop them? Do you think anybody in South America or Central America is going to take the time to go to Venezuela and stop them? Fuck no. They're packing their fucking bags. And as soon as the U.S. starts getting fucked up, they're going to be like, all right, man, as soon as this stops, I'm heading north and I'm setting up shop in the U.S. And I'm going to be there on the ground floor because you know those white people are going to they'll be rebuilding as soon as it's over. They'll put something reasonable together and I'll be there at the ground floor and I'll have a seat at the table. So they're not going to stop that for a fucking second. So yeah, Iran is setting up shop in Venezuela and I don't honestly foresee anybody being willing to stop them. Like, why would they? Who the fuck? And even if there was somebody who was going to, who could? Like, I'll help you. Who the fuck are you? Fucking Peru? The fucking... the pyramid guys, the little fucking Indio guys, you're not going to go fuck around with no Iranian fucking soldiers setting up shop. Or Venezuela is probably the same. Like, yeah, you go do your thing here. They're probably being taken care of. So you're like, no, you're going to have to fight your way through Venezuelans to get in here and fight Iranians. And then all that is assuming that you can make any difference at all. So that's a silly fucking idea. Why don't you just stay home and wait, dude? Just stay home and wait. See how it plays out. And then get what you can get at the end. That's probably what would happen instead. So, you know, you can fucking flag wave and be like, no, dude, Iran will get fucked up. Yeah, they probably will get fucked up. That's why they're so tentative. That's why they've stood for so much bullshit, so much saber rattling, and so much shit talking as they have, because they know they probably will get fucked up. So, I mean, most likely, I would guess they're waiting till the last minute and like, well, let's see if we can let the Americans keep fucking around in Ukraine, keep fucking around sending stuff to Israel, let Israel slug it out a little bit more. Let's see, like, if they'll diminish their resources appreciably to any degree. And then when it looks like we're going to get it either way, like you're getting punched either way, you better just start fighting. When it comes to that point, then I imagine they will. They'll be like, all right, man, fucking here we go. See how it goes. Launch. And just cross your fucking fingers and hope for the best. Will they get fucked up? They probably will get fucked up. But that will also probably be the end of the show for the U.S., man, because we'll probably get hit from a few different directions. I mean, that would be China's time to move. That would be Russia's time to move. Like, if you got an issue with Americans, you've had it up to fucking here. I mean, if you're Russia, right? Like, hey, assholes, remember that Nord Stream pipeline fucking thing? All your troops in Poland are just now going to take one in the fucking mouth. China's like, hey, all that ass pain you've given us in Southeast Asia, now this is happening. Because you're fucking wrapped up in Iran, dude. So, you know, even if it ended in kind of a stalemate in some of those positions, it would be like, yeah, dude, the U.S. is shot out, dude. Not a fucking powerhouse anymore. So that's what's on the horizon, man. And honestly, it's almost like it's got to go that way, dude, because if the U.S. gets any weaker, they're not going to be able to back Israel. And that's really what's driving this whole thing, is the push for fucking greater Israel. But looking at Trump's approach to some of this shit, man, this was kind of what I wanted to hit on. And I guess this kind of came to mind because of the interview that I had listened to with this fucking Fed guy. But if you notice, man, and I think Trump had said this himself at one point in one of his shitty books or something, that he always talks big. He always talks big. He always aims high. Dude, I would call it like just straight audacity, man. Like just talking way the fuck. I mean, dude, you fucking hear it. It's amazing. It's tremendous. I've done it like nothing you've ever seen. You're not going to believe how great this is going to be. I mean, dude, I know in our thing, like, we tend to be self-deprecating and like, I'm just some shithead, man. And like, it's, you know, we kind of keep it, you know, casual, keep it level. But I will tell you, there is a place for this shit. And kind of dovetailing onto the thing with this interview that I want to get to is that, you know, I think when you're growing up, man, especially a lot of the generations now, and I couldn't speak for young kids right now. Hopefully it's changing a little, but definitely when I grew up, dad was not around, man. Dad is usually not around because dad is out earning that money to keep the fucking lights on. So you're raised by women, and being raised by women is maybe just one step up from being raised by wolves. And hey, again, I'm a huge fan of women, dude. I like women. But I will tell you, when a woman is left to do something completely on her own, it's going to get done the way a highly emotional, non-logic driven person is going to do it, man. And that includes raising kids. So what you get then is you get a lot of men that are really only trained to make their mother happy. Like, your mom likes a clean room. All right, you're good at that shit. Your mom likes, you to show up on time, or likes to have a hug, or whatever it is your mom likes. That's what you're fucking good at. Mom is usually not going to prepare you for what it's going to be like out in the world. That was something that kind of came to mind when I was listening to this interview that I still want to get to. But speaking specifically to this Trump thing, I've seen often enough where a woman will just poo-poo a man and just like take the fucking air out of him in a fucking second, man. And, you know, dudes could dream big and dudes accomplish things, right? Men fucking accomplish things. Men build coliseums. Men erect cities. All right, this is the shit that we do. We explore continents. We hit hard. We go heavy. You know, when we have the resources, we have the manpower, we have what we need, there's a lot that a man can fucking do. We're designed to do that shit. We're evolved to do that shit. But what you will see, dude, is that like a woman will be like, oh yeah, sure, like you could ever do that. Okay, Mr. Can't Clean My Own Room. And like, just fuck, dude, just let the air right the fuck out of you. So I think growing up, it becomes a deal where a lot of men are like, yeah, I got to keep it reasonable, bro. I got to keep it safe, because in the back of your mind, you've always got some woman that's, you know, whether it's from when you were a child and is just holdover, or you got a wife that just picked up where mom left off and is like, okay, Mr. Can't mow the fucking lawn. Okay, Mr. Can't even get out of bed because I'm so tired. Oh. There's always going to be a woman there to let the air out of your fucking sails. But what I saw, and this was something that I saw, like I recognized it with fucking Zion Dawn, turd that he is, but it's something that I recognized coming from the pickup artist community, is this audacity, this aiming way, way, way too fucking high. But what you will see often as not is that I'll tell you this, dude, when I got into that pickup artist scene, I could not fucking believe what you could get away with. What women, not just what you could like get some drunk girl to let you do to her, right? I mean, stone fucking sober, like what you're going to do the next day, like what you're going to plan for lunch or whatever. Like, hey, here's what we're going to do. You know, Jane, fucking whatever. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to fucking pick you up. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Going to do this. And she'll be like, okay, and bring a friend. Okay. They'll fucking do it. Not all the time. But what I mean is that, like, you would be fucking amazed if you would just step in and aim a little higher, because I think way, way worse than aiming high and missing is aiming low and succeeding. You know, because you fucking aim low, you get some schnook fuck job, you know, you got some boring woman who hates you anyway, and you're like, this is really, I guess, as good as I could do. But think about it, man. How easily did you wade into that? You just like, hey, can I have this job? Yes. Thank God, a competent white man. Hey, do you want to go out? Yes. He's got a solid job. He's going to keep a roof over my head. I can whip this guy like no end. But you just settled for that shit. You didn't have to try at all. It wasn't challenging at all. But if you aim a little fucking higher, be a little fucking audacious and like, how could I say, man? In the gig that I have now, I have been in spots, and it fucking sucks that I can't kind of dox a little bit, but I will say, like, I have been in spots and been around people that if they knew where I was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, they would be like, dude, I am not sure you're the guy that should be around. You would not guess, right, that dude that is in that completely fucked position is going to be standing here at this point. Quite honestly, like, yeah, dude, my resume in my, you know, previous life, that does carry a lot of weight, but also it's just my willingness to be like, look, I'm going to try this shit, dude. And even if you eat shit, like, okay, well, I know that I sucked at that. That didn't work out. Like, you have no idea. You could be walking around really, really good at something that not very many people can do. It would make you a fuck ton of money or make you really happy or really make life easier for you, make life enjoyable. But you just don't try it. You just don't try it because you don't want to eat shit and fail. I'm saying, dude, like, go, be fucking audacious. Like, hit on 2 girls at once. I mean, seriously, like, kind of circling back to, like, that pickup artist shit. I think, like, when I was in my prime, dude, there was a couple times where I would roll up and talk to 2 girls, pull them out of a bar, go to a strip club, and then bring at least one of them back to whatever hotel I was at. It's fucking ludicrous. And it's not because they're all fucked up, and it's not because I'm so fucking cool, because I am not Handsome Dan. But it's just because it becomes this frame thing where they're like, I guess this is just normal. And you're like, yeah, it's just fucking normal. It's normal today. It's normal with me. Come on, let's go. But being fucking audacious like that, you would be amazed at how much more you have in the tank. And I honestly think that this is what this Zion Dawn situation is, where he's saying we're taking fucking Greenland. Maybe we'll make Canada a fucking state. Maybe, you know, maybe we bomb Iran. The talk suddenly becomes, just like with the pickup artist thing, the talk suddenly becomes, the negotiating point suddenly becomes not how cool am I with you. The talk now is like, am I going home with you or not? And that's what's on the table. And the longer you talk about it, the more normal it becomes and the more likely it's going to happen. It's the same fucking thing. Canada, 51st state. What the fuck do I want with Canada? But you're talking like this. Now that's what's on the table. And now it's like, are we? Aren't we? maybe the longer you talk about it, unless there's some absolute stonewall, fuck you, no way, then every conversation, it's a little closer, a little closer, a little closer, and it's very fucking reasonable before long. Same thing with Greenland. We're taking fucking Greenland. No, what are you even talking about? Yeah, I'm sending my vice president up there tomorrow. Don't make it weird, dude. We're just going to, hey, look, you're going to love it. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be a huge step up from dealing with dinky-ass Denmark. Don't argue with me on this. Look, I'm going to start laying out some deals for you. And they're standing there all awestruck and disbelief in this shit and like, oh, I can't believe I would never. And like, yeah, no, it's happening. And every minute that it goes on, the closer you get to like, yeah, it actually happened. But I mean, don't be surprised if a couple of these things actually do happen. And it ain't no black magic. It's just this is the way that it works. Like you're moving that middle ground. You're moving that Overton window to like, hey, here's the middle ground now. The middle ground now, you become our new province. What? Like, no, that's just how this works. So moving along though, man, like that was just kind of realizing that that's not something that most dudes naturally do. It kind of popped into my head as I was listening to this interview. So this dude sent me this interview with this guy named Scott Payne, I think. And it was on fucking Joe Rogan. And he's this guy who I guess started out as a local cop in, I want to say, Texas or something. And then moved into doing undercover work. So buying like, no, I think it was actually South Carolina where this guy said he was doing undercover shit. But was doing undercover shit and then moved into a federal undercover program. So he's talking about like penetrating biker gangs, and then he's talking about penetrating right-wing organizations. Talked about this guy, I guess, penetrated the base, fucking Atomwaffen. And listening to this shit, man, like a few things became kind of apparent. One, it became very, very apparent that the federal government's primary concern is hamstringing white men. Like, we need to find white men who are breaking the law, and we need to cut them down to size fucking yesterday. And if they're not actually breaking the law, we need to watch them for a while and just think about it like, well, maybe there is a way that what they're doing is against the law, and we need to act on that. But that just became very apparent right away that, like, this is the focus here. So the guy talked about the biker scene, talked about penetrating an outlaws club. One of the things that I noticed that I had read in other accounts from feds who had penetrated biker clubs was that it's kind of a pisser because you're forming friendships with these guys who are not so different from you. Like, oh, they're bad guys or breaking the law or whatever, but they're not so different from you. They're just basically blue-collar guys who are kind of sick of living in a faggotized world. They don't really have much in the way of opportunity. I mean, if you're being fucking fair, like, you can't look at an African, right, these dusty field hands, and bemoan their lack of opportunities when you're basically getting, handheld through elementary school, you're getting tutored through high school, you're getting pimped into college, they're saving a seat for you at university. They federally mandate having to hire your ass, and then once you're in a job, it's impossible to fire them, and you have to promote them so long as they maintain a pulse. But when they go out and break the law or they set things on fire, they start killing people, we start talking about, well, they have had a long history of oppression. That fucking guy's never been oppressed in his fucking life. That guy's always had a good day. That guy's always had an easy walk. So when you look at these biker dudes, or I don't know, this Atomwaffen thing we'll get to, but, it's hard then for me to look at that and go, well, look, man, these guys don't just have a chance. These guys aren't just pushed aside so that Tyrone can have a shot at being a scientist. These guys are actually the people that are like, no, do not hire someone who looks like that. That's the fucking guidelines. Do not admit this guy to college. We don't want their kind here. So what do you really expect? So he's talking about how he gets into these organizations. He's talking about he's forming friendships and relationships with these dudes, and how these guys actually do look out for him, right? Where he's got these, what he calls like guys making cameo appearances, is like, this is my guy who moves stolen shit from here to Mexico or whatever. And then like one guy at one point, he's telling this story about a guy that he knows from this outlaws club that, hears that one of these guys that had worked with this Fed got arrested. And he's like, dude, did you hear that whoever the fuck got arrested? He's like, fuck, no, dude. He's like, I don't know. They don't do shit just for me. They do their own things, but damn, dude, I hadn't heard about it. He's like, fuck, all right. So this guy, the outlaw guy, is like, all right, well, I'm going to make some calls, man. I'm going to see what I can find out. And, dude, I'll let you know what I hear, man. So you see that it's like there's some concern. Like, hey, are you good? Like, well, this happened to your guy. Is everything cool? Oh, you don't know? Well, all right, I'll make some calls and I'll find out for you. And I ain't trying to paint these as, like, upstanding citizens or anything. But I do still have to look at it in terms of, like, well, what is this guy saying about the people he's doing this to, as opposed to what the prevailing belief is about how these people live their lives and their value as part of society or whatever, right? So he moves on then, and he's talking about how it's the craziest thing. Like, he just goes from talking about how crazy shit is in Mexico, where cartels are, no shit, like he says, cutting people's heads off like it's Afghanistan. And then he's talking about, yeah, but bro, these Nazi dudes, these white supremacist dudes, now these dudes are crazy. This, like, oh, just white people, only white people, that's crazy. And I'm like, wait a minute, dipshit. Like, you were just talking about, one, how you're rolling up guys who literally, like, from their position, like, if you've got a strike against you, like, already as a white dude, you're not getting shit. You got a strike against you, you are really in a tight spot. But here's you now talking about, like, yeah, these Mexicans, they're fucking nuts. But here's these assholes wanting a white country. What the fuck, right? And there's Joe Rogan, of course, like, oh yeah, bro, that's fucking crazy, bro. Those guys are fucking nuts, bro. Oh, that's crazy. But he's talking about this, and he's talking about this Atomwaffen thing, which I think has already since come out. That, like, yeah, this was fucking Fed-backed. Like, this was a honeypot. Like, this was, I don't know, I don't remember all the ins and outs. But there was definitely some very, very dodgy shit, and they were roping in some real fuckwits, man. Like, I guess they had roped in some guy that was, like, some dude that was gay and then tried to get gay on his roommate or something and then killed his roommate or some shit like that, some crazy shit. But so he goes to this thing, I guess, some meetups, a couple of meetups with these dudes, and he's talking about they're doing this Odinist thing. And, hey, man, if you dig the Asatru thing or whatever, you know, that's your bag. All right, cool. But these dudes, like, they're out in the middle of nowhere. I think he said he was in, like, Georgia somewhere. They went to a nearby farm, and this is his story now. Mind you, this is some Fed story. This could be half bullshit, right? Anyway, his story is that he went to some... they, a bunch of them, went to some farm, stole a goat from somewhere, brought this goat back, and they're going to sacrifice this goat to Odin. And they're trying to kill the goat with a machete, and the machete ain't sharp enough. And then one of them's got a pistol on him, and they shoot the goat. And so already I'm kind of like, this is a little dodgy to me, because I know, like, I never had any kind of interaction that I'm aware of with anybody that was involved with fucking Atomwaffen or the base or any of that shit. But the meetups that I have been to with pro-white organizations, security was extremely tight. As in, like, we're going to wand you, we're going to look through your luggage, we're going to look through your car. You're not fucking sneaking anything in here, dude. Nobody's going to do anything wonky out here. Because of exactly this kind of shit, you know, where, like, because for all I know was maybe this Fed was like the bunny ears, you know, master at arms fucking security guy for this organization, and he brought out his own pistol. I don't know how true any of this shit is. I mean, maybe that whole story is made up. I don't fucking know. But when I hear things like that, I do start to go like, I don't know about this, you know, I mean, that's a little bit far. But I guess what I immediately noticed, though, as I'm hearing this guy tell this story, is that some of these organizations, these are organizations for disenfranchised young men. Like, these are organizations, especially like National Socialist flavored organizations. These are not organizations for men who want to fucking fail. He did talk about Atomwaffen as an accelerationist organization. I'm not familiar enough with Atomwaffen. I just know there was a lot of kooky motherfuckers that were doing some kooky shit. some gun videos and shit. But even like the gun videos, the shit I heard was like everybody, what was it? Like a couple guys who had gotten rolled up that were known Adam Woff and Associates were like, I don't know where that video came from, dude. We didn't produce that. I don't think we had the ability to produce something like that. So it's very suspect. But just like, comparing the 1.0 and the biker thing, like these are kind of self-destruct mode organizations. Most National Socialist, like white identity type organizations that I've seen, that I'm familiar with, are like, these are hardcore self-improvement type organizations. We're talking about get off the substances. And this guy even talked about, like, he had penetrated some other organization and had to sit through some interviews and this shit. And they're talking about your red pill moment and who's your inspiration. And they're talking about Hitler and this kind of thing. He didn't mention anything about, like, what did they ask you about substance abuse, guy? Because I know that gets asked because I've sat on these interviews. And that's the shit I ask. What kind of shit are you on? What kind of shit have you done? If you've done shit, get off of it, get yourself straight, then maybe come back. How much do you drink? These are the questions that get asked. All right? How's your mental health? Are you straight? Are you, you got your act together? Or are you kind of fucked up? If you're kind of fucked up, dude, I want to steer you to help. But, I mean, we're over here trying to build race cars. I can't, stop and try to pick you up and make you into just a basic level functioning individual. You're going to have to handle some of that on your own. We're here to prop each other up. We're not all here to prop you up. So to that end, though, man, I think, well, I guess in all with that, I guess, the takeaway was what we all already know, that like, dude, these feds are not here to fucking help you. And it was a little bit, honestly, disheartening. I don't know, disheartening, I guess maybe it was what you'd expect, to hear an otherwise capable white man just come out straight away, just bad-mouthing other white men who are, in probably a lot of cases, dudes who just didn't grow up with an effective dad, who are actually trying to make something of themselves, who are actually trying to find their way in the world. And here's you out here like, how can I trip this motherfucker up? Like, how can I find something to fucking hang this dude with? And it's a little bit fucking unimpressive. But, a cat like that, it, I like to think it eventually comes around to bite a guy in the ass, man. I mean, I ain't no Hindu, but I think there's a little bit of karma out there. But with that in mind, man, I was thinking moving forward that some of these small type lessons, like some of these ideas, I mean, I ain't fucking Superman, but I am an old man and I've been around, and honestly, a lot of things that I would have probably done well to learn from my dad, or maybe my dad tried to teach me and I just had my head too far up my ass. That's also a possibility. But a lot of shit that I would have done well to learn as a young man is shit that I had to learn as an old man by trial and error, or by getting, hey, dipshit, straighten yourself outified. I think maybe that might be some good shit to add in here. Maybe just some small things. So I think for this one, that would be the one I would send away, is that, like, yeah, be more audacious, man. Like, aim fucking high. Aim high, get in there and fail. But like this Adam Woffen thing, or like these outlaw biker club type thing, don't fail in a way that's going to fucking stick to you, dude. Don't fail in a way that puts you in the crosshairs of people with the money and resources to completely fucking crush you. All right, there's no fucking glory in that. So with that, I think that's where we'll leave it, man. I got to get in here and let Shaniqua look through my ass. But you, man, you want to hassle me, you want to see some more, hear some more, you can check the scene out on Telegram, t.me/the abuse hour, or associated chat, t.me/rant room. And until next time, man, I don't know what we'll talk about next time. It's a mystery. I'll have to figure it out. But until next time, you keep your eyes on the horizon, keep your neck out of the noose. I've been Coffee. These are my takes.